Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I'm here with my co host, sister, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody. I can't
How's
believe
it
it's
going?
Wednesday.
I
Good,
know.
but weird. This week has just flown by.
Racing by, without a doubt. I hear that. Well, it's Wednesday, of course, which means it is case updates, and we have got a slew of them.
Right?
Kind of
A lot.
reaching backwards into some old stuff and finding some new, court happening
Yeah.
and some things like that. So we're excited. Want to say hi to Janie, Cranky, Barbara, Amy, Colleen, Cammie, RJ, Fran. Welcome everybody. We are chatting, so come and say hello, be a part of the crew. So how's it going? How's your day?
Really good. First of all, please acknowledge my shirts.
Gay, 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 gay.
If you're listening and not watching, it says hashtag say gay in all the rainbow flag colors. So I was very happy to find this.
I love it.
Over the
Very
weekend,
cool.
I went and did my gay pride shopping, which just meant finding the handful of stores in this town selling pride merch, and got me some new shirts and a few things because I like to get some new gay stuff. I don't necessarily like supporting the corporateness of pride, but I
Mhm.
do like having these things to wear. So I guess it's kind of a, kind of a bit of a catch-22. But yeah.
It's a service. Yeah.
Well, it is because I like to wear things that say stuff like this
Yeah.
around this
This town.
town where I live.
Yeah.
Because it's important and
Mhm.
representation matters. So,
I love it. Well,
yeah.
good. Hi to
Other than that,
Coco.
I've been deep down the rabbit hole of Teal Swan today.
Yes, you've been teal swanning it up. So that's going to be in Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to record that tomorrow. So it will be in Patreon if you want our take on Teal Swan and as, professional healers and psychics and having worked in the spiritual new age world for a long time.
As well as being former Mormons.
Yeah, former Mormons and myself being a mental health professional.
Hmm.
Well, we have some stuff to say. So
Yeah. I got to
please
talk
come
the
to,
teal swan. Yeah.
yes, but please, come to Patreon to hear us say it because I feel like that's the best place for us to do it.
Sometimes Patreon really provides a safe platform to discuss
Mhm.
things that otherwise you may not be able to really
Publicly.
pontificate on. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
And,
Yeah.
no shade to anybody if you're a Teal Swan follower, but come hear what we
No.
have to say. Come join us
Yeah.
on Patreon. What we have to say, just hear it because I do feel like a perspective from others who have worked in this field really matters in this case. So,
For sure. I want to say hi to Coco and Gigi and Colleen. Maybe I already said hi to Colleen. I did. Well, you get it twice, Colleen. There you go.
look at you.
Oh, Cranky is going to Pride. She said her little town is having a Pride Day and she is going to support her friends. I love that. How fun.
That is really cool.
We forgot about Pride here in Rexburg, which is crazy because Rexburg Pride has only been going on for 3 years.
No, this was only the second
Was
year.
this the second year?
No.
I can't believe we forgot. What the hell's wrong with us?
Well, right at the beginning of the month, I went to visit
Yeah.
JJ in California, and I have not quite caught up on
Yeah.
that it's June now, and June things are happening. Yeah.
I know.
But I hear very good things. We had PFLAG last night, and some people went, and they said it was really great. So that makes me happy.
Awesome. Very good. Well, we're super excited because next weekend we get to go to Boise to celebrate my birthday and
Yeah.
go to the Lavender Festival and have some fun. So I'm super excited.
Mm-hmm.
One listener who I won't call out by name for safety and things, hopefully we can have coffee with you while we're there. That's a part of my plan.
Well, there you
So,
go.
yes, she'll know who she is.
I think she will.
And anyone else
Yeah,
who's from
that's going to
Boise
be
for that
super fun.
matter. Yeah. Oh, Barbara said they're having Pride Bar Crawl in Tucson. Oh, how fun.
That sounds fun. That would be a
Mhm.
fun way to do it. We don't have a lot of gay-friendly bars here. I wish we
No.
did. I would love to have a pride bar crawl. That'd be fun.
I keep seeing bar crawls happen that are like, oh, like there's a golf one that they do every year that like it's a mini golf thing that you putt a little course in every bar.
Oh, really?
That would
Oh,
be
that'd
so
be fun.
fun. We
Mhm.
don't do enough fun things.
No.
When you work from home, and also thanks to COVID, I mean, we're all just so way too used to just sitting home.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm having a hard time making myself get out of the house. And then I feel like I miss out on everything because I'm not leaving my house, but I'm also not leaving my house by choice. So I need to snap
Yes.
the hell out of it.
We are
So
getting
anyway,
out of these damn houses and doing
yes.
some goddamn fun things. My trip to California really showed me that, like, "Oh, I am
Hmm.
not having enough fun. I am not
Yeah.
having nearly enough fun. I need to get the hell out of this house." Yeah, so Rhonda and I are like, "Yeah, we need to get you guys together and go down and do some karaoke, for example."
Yes. I'm
Haven't
all
done that in a
about
while.
it. We played a game. One of our favorite cousins on the planet came last weekend with her husband,
Yes.
and we played a karaoke game that you draw a card and it gives you a prompt, and then you think of a song that reminds you of that, and you just look it up on your phone, which there's karaoke everywhere, and then your team
Mhm.
has to sing the song. Oh my gosh, it
It
was
was
so
so
funny.
fun.
It
Oh,
was
it was hilarious.
hilarious. Yes, that's awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
Brandy.
Yeah, I know, and I when we played it, I'm like, "I wanna go down and do real karaoke. We haven't done it in forever."
Yeah, we need to. That's fun. That's a
Mhm.
fun little bar too.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's weird and seedy as hell, but we bring the fun.
We do bring the fun. They have good food. That's what matters.
They do. They do.
Mhm.
And that's where we learned how to make one of my favorite bar or drinks to order in a bar ever, because a lot
Okay.
of times they don't know what you're ordering, but it's called an Angry Balls.
Mhm.
It's an Angry Orchard with a shot of Fireball,
Mhm.
and it's delicious. Yeah. Mhm.
It is
Oh,
good.
Arbor says Pride in the Desert, October 1st. Ooh, I like that.
Mm.
Like that because Arizona is just hotter than holy hell right now. My
October is a
God.
great month to have
I
Pride
hope
in.
you're doing okay, Barbara. Lordy.
Yes.
Hey, Janet. Oh, Colleen said Pride in Lexington, Kentucky is next weekend. Oh, it's always so fun and uplifting. There's always two protesters and no one cares. Well, good.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
See? Apparently
See?
there was only one at Rexburg Pride, and they sort of gave up and went home early because they were way outnumbered.
Get the hell out. We'll just ignore you
Mhm.
till you go. Yeah.
Well, and get this. So there was this truck driving the pickup driving around the park
Mhm.
with uh flags on the back, right? And
Mhm.
here, if you see that, well, they're
That
not
means one
pro
thing.
pride
Mhm.
flags. This truck was driving a pride flag and an American flag, and they were just going round and round and round the park, which I thought was really,
Oh,
really cool.
very cool. I hear it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
there's still, I passed a truck today, this giant truck, and they have this huge flag mounted in the back of their truck that's like, I mean, it's like 10 feet above this giant truck, and it's an enormous impeach Biden flag. Like, how much time and effort and money did it cost you to do this dumbass thing?
right.
Like, stop
Also,
it.
be careful going under low overpasses, dumbass.
Oh,
Like,
I'd
you're
like
not
to see
supposed to
that.
be driving something like that around in your car.
Seriously. Fran said there were at least 31 protesters in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, there were at least 31. That is true.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Jacqueline. Oh, Barbara said she gave the chickens all waiting pools with ice.
Oh, good call. Oh,
Janet
to
says
be a
they're
chicken in
still,
Arizona? Oh,
ah, right? Oh, Janet said they're still dealing with January in Seattle. Oh, yeah, here too.
oh, here it's so
It's
weird, you
so
guys.
cold. It was in the 30s this
We had
morning
a
when we
frost
got up.
warning last night.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
chilly. The windows are shut. The heat's not on, but the windows are all shut, and we're wearing hoodies, and it's chilly.
Mhm.
Scott's about frozen to death umpiring. Poor Scott.
Well, and it's supposed to hit 90 this weekend.
Yeah,
That's what we're dealing with, that
yeah.
insane up and down stuff that is just it
Mm,
is
not
the
good.
hallmark of living here,
Yeah.
but
Hey,
it's also
Cindy.
frustrating.
Uh huh. Amy said that her brother Eli's memorial is Saturday, and they are singing karaoke because it was his favorite thing. I love it, Amy.
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea.
That's an awesome idea. Well, let's talk a little bit about, well, I found a meme that I thought applied to this group. So I
Oh, let's
saved
hear
it so
it.
that I could share it. I think we can all pretty much relate with this. It says, I can't watch a movie where a dog dies, but I will watch a serial killer documentary where 27 people are murdered to relax at night.
Oh, good God. Have been called out.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I'm worried that we're not going to have huckleberries this year. I have no idea what the state of the mountains are. I'll go check it out.
I'm betting not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, Janet said listening to murder podcasts to fall asleep. Yeah, I know. We're
Yeah.
weird. There was, so my daughter was in Billings last weekend, and I should issue to her and her teammate, they went together, a really strict warning about how dangerous Billings is. Because per capita, Billings is one of the most dangerous cities in the country.
Yeah.
Their crime rate is insane, and I hate it when they go
Mhm.
to Billings. I hate it when I go to Billings.
Yeah.
And, so I had said, like, you guys don't be stupid. Here's all the things.
Yeah.
Well, on Sunday, a girl disappeared in Billings,
Oh, no.
like in the middle of the night, Saturday night to Sunday. So I had sent it over to my daughter and just said, hey, check this out. And she's like, my God, she's like, we were on that road. She's like, our hotel was on that road where she went missing.
Oh,
And I'm like, wow. So we've been kind of watching this case, and her name, she's a Native American young lady, of course,
well,
which
because
is just
that's
so
why
much of
the
this.
murder, that's why the crime rate is so high in Billings,
Yep.
is because it's crimes against Native women.
Yep.
Ugh.
She's from the Northern Cheyenne tribe. She was 38. And yes, she went missing on June 12th. So Mars was like, my gosh, it just kind of rang home to her, right?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, I came across an article that they had just pulled a body out of the Yellowstone River outside of Billings.
Oh,
And I
no.
sent it over to Mars and said, what do you think? And she goes, my God, is it her? Confirmed today.
It is
It's
her.
her. But here's the
Uh,
thing that freaking killed me about the article. The sheriff said, we don't suspect foul play, but for now we're going to treat it as a homicide.
oh, for God's sake. Yes, because adult women just go falling in rivers all the damn time.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yep. More of the same
Jesus
bullshit.
be some Valium, people.
You're right. Yeah. But so that's a case I'm going to keep tracking. I don't really have any info about it yet, except for that it happened and I wanted to keep tracking it. But
Mm,
at any rate, yeah, she didn't end up in the river for nothing.
no. Uh,
Yeah.
well, and that was up there when all of that flooding was starting and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm,
Billings has flooded now. They hadn't flooded then, but they have flooded now. Yeah.
yikes.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a scary, scary town.
Well, and I think it helps bring home to our young ladies like, we're not messing around here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need to think about to be
Hmm.
safe. Anyway, but that one just hit a little close to home, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that sure does.
So all the
Yikes.
love to her family, damn it.
Hmm.
So with that being said, let's tear into our case updates tonight. We have so many.
You do.
And we'll start with Harmony Montgomery.
Mm.
So some of you
Oh,
may have already seen this. Yesterday, the FBI and the police in Manchester, New Hampshire. And let me back up. If you don't know, Harmony Montgomery is a little girl that has been missing since 2019. She would be 8 years old, but she hasn't been seen since the fall of 2019. So she went missing when she was 5. And she is a little girl that kind of got lost by the CPS system. Her dad had custody of her, and he just kind of slipped off into obscurity, and no one saw or heard from, well, him. Mom had been back to CPS like a billion times trying to get information on where her daughter was. Her rights had not been severed, but she didn't have custody of her.
mm-hmm.
Couldn't get anything from CPS. She finally had somebody go to the mayor And the mayor started poking around with the police department, and the police department suddenly went, "Oh shit, we have a missing child, a 5 year old who's been gone for 3 years." Well, 2 years when this all
2
started.
years at the time.
And finally, dad was found. He was living homeless. He's a junkie. He's been in prison before for shooting somebody. He's a complete disaster.
Yeah.
And he and his ex wife, who was Harmony's stepmother, were both arrested. He was actually arrested for violence on Harmony when she was alive, that was witnessed by an uncle.
After
Stepmom,
she was missing,
yeah,
then he gets arrested for
then
it.
he was arrested. Stepmom was arrested because she was still getting food stamp benefits for Harmony, though she hadn't seen her in over 2 years.
Mm.
She made it out on bail, and then she was rearrested for perjury. And now it seems like maybe she has squealed. We don't know. What
Someone
happened
has.
yesterday is that the FBI and the cops showed up at an apartment complex on Union Street in Manchester, New Hampshire, and did a huge search of this apartment that apparently these two lived in for a while.
Yeah.
See, they had already searched his grandmother's house where they had been living. They've
Mhm.
searched it a couple of times. The poor people that lived there were completely displaced, had crazy people making death threats and, all this stupid shit,
Right, because they had
and
no idea.
they had no idea. They just bought the house not too long ago and were
Yeah.
suddenly inundated with all of these searches and these people. So now it's this apartment. They hauled out a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah.
They hauled out large items wrapped in sheets of cardboard that sources are saying were pieces of wall and flooring
Mm.
from the apartment. They hauled out the refrigerator. They hauled out the fridge. It was wrapped in black plastic and biohazard stickers and loaded into an FBI truck. And then someone else from the FBI showed up with another brand new refrigerator to replace it with, since the people who live there probably need to have a fridge. I guess someone lives there. I'm not really
But,
sure.
I mean, how terrifying is that? If you do, and you've been using that freaking fridge,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh, that part just oh.
That turns my stomach so much. So they removed several other things too. Then they removed a manhole cover and used a tethered camera and put it down into the sewer and did some searching that way. They didn't remove anything from the sewer, but they did do some searching. And then they brought in some HVAC people who were there for several hours, and they were bringing items into the building that are commonly used for cutting pipes. So, what? What's the story? That she was murdered and
Someone
placed in the
has
fridge for a while and then cut up and shoved down the drains? I mean, what the hell? What
right. I
is
mean, that
this?
what else would how else could you interpret that other than that, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Some awful Dexter shit. No kidding, Janet.
right,
Yeah.
Janet.
So that's what happened. There were some rumors that there was a coroner's truck there. That is not true. New Hampshire actually doesn't have coroner's trucks.
Right.
They just rely on local funeral homes for pickup. And so there's just no such thing. So there was no coroner truck there. And the police have been completely tight lipped today. They're not talking at all about what they
No.
did or didn't find.
Other than to say that, there had also not been a funeral home truck there.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
yay,
Yep.
thank you. Those of you just noticing my shirt, I just adjusted my camera so you can see it a little better. Cause yeah,
Yeah.
I'm representing, friends.
So that's what we know with Harmony. We'll keep an eye on it. We've been on the Harmony case since it happened, and we've been keeping an eye on it. So we will
Yeah,
definitely keep you guys abreast. I really, really am starting to think that Kayla, the stepmama, talked.
I think so too.
I think she's in more deep shit than she knows what to do with and might actually be trying to finally help herself out
Yeah.
and tell the truth.
Yep.
As it's
And
been nothing but lies up to here and them blaming Harmony's mother and claiming that they passed Harmony off to her, which is just patently untrue.
right.
And so here we are. It's
Ugh.
just pretty terrible.
It is. And yes, GBI had the same thought. Dennis Nielsen, who did the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how he got caught, actually, is by um, a backup in the sewer
Yeah.
of the building.
It makes you wonder what kind of sewer problems or, you know,
Right. Have they been
issues,
having?
pipe issues has this apartment building had over the last few years.
Right. And they haven't known why. Oh, God, that's
Yeah.
awful.
So, Kristi, there are some minor updates in Dillon Rounds. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, not really an update other than, still the family is actively looking. Everyone's looking. There are so many people. There are people from here locally that are looking, like because he's from this area originally, and his dad is still lives here. So there's a lot going on. But there was a statement put out by the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office today. I wanted to read a little part of that because this is really the first time that Box Elder County has acknowledged that, oh, I don't know, maybe this is a missing persons investigation. So they are now calling it a missing person slash criminal investigation update. That's what they put out. So they are acknowledging now that Dylan didn't just run away on a whim, which is what they,
Mm-hmm.
were kind of implying at first.
Well,
But
weird.
right, God. So they're saying Box Elder County volunteer teams have logged 300 hours searching, covering over 3,000 miles, not including the time um, traveled to and from remote search areas. So they're really looking for some cred here, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Box Elder County Sheriff's Office detectives and deputies have also been searching around the clock weekdays and weekends. So far, detectives have spent over 650 hours investigating this case. These numbers continue to increase daily and do not include the time and resources contributed by assisting law enforcement agencies and search teams. So I think it's really self congratulatory, but it is at least an
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement that a crime has been committed and someone is missing. So that's a step in the right
Yeah.
direction. I haven't heard from his mom again, and I know that she
Yeah.
has so much going on. And so I'm just in a Facebook group where she's posting updates so that she doesn't
Yeah.
have to update anybody. Um, so that's what's going on. I mean, at
Mm-hmm.
least they're taking it seriously now, but
Mm-hmm.
but we know from what we reported last week that there was blood. There's some indication of foul play here. So
Yeah.
at least they're working on it.
Yeah. Yes, right? I mean, at least they're doing something, but
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
it.
And you are absolutely right, Fran. They have to try and make themselves look good since mom has gone to the media. Because
Mm-hmm.
mom told me, I will not shut up. And if they won't do what I want, I'll start releasing the information they've given me.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually did that when she told us about the boots.
Yes.
So, and I told her, because we've seen so many of these cases, look, it is the squeaky wheel that gets attention in these situations. So you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the right thing. This is how you will get the help that you need.
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
That's what it takes. And yep, definitely they're not liking it, but that's too damn bad.
yeah, they have
Most
taken way too long, way too long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. I have said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. I will never ever in my lifetime understand why families have to beg law enforcement to take a look at their missing people. I just
right?
can't.
Me either. It makes
Yeah.
no sense at all. I don't understand it. And this is a hard case. This is an expensive case. They're way out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't care. That's their job, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hoping for some answers for his family.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yep. So it is also today marks a year that Summer Wells has been missing.
God.
So if you remember, Summer Wells is this absolutely precious little girl
Mhm.
who went missing last year out of Tennessee. And basically, the sheriff is saying, we are basically in the same place we are now that we were then.
Yeah,
We
they are.
just don't have an idea. They don't know. A lot of people have really suspected the family, particularly the dad. The
Hmm.
family is very backwoods. They're pretty gross. There's some abuse and some alcoholism here. There's a missing aunt. Summer's
Right.
mother's sister went missing back in, I believe, 2011 or 2013.
Yeah, it was about 10 years prior to Summer.
Yeah, I think 2011. There's a lot of strange things. One of her dad's grown sons is a registered sex offender. There's all kinds of stuff that makes people look at the family and be like, they goddamn well did do it. Well, if they did, they've done a good job of hiding it because they have not been able to uncover anything.
No, no. No, and you'd think in a year and the pressure that they've placed on these people that if they had something, it would come out.
Gosh, you would think so. You would
Yeah.
really, really freaking think so. So that's where things are with Summer Wells. I mean, I wish I had a better update than that, but I wanted to at least say her name, and mark the fact that she has, been missing now for a year.
Yeah.
In the Daybell case, there was a motion hearing today at 10:30. It was yet another closed door event. Uh, I'll say it again. I wish that somebody bigger and with more lawyers than us, we don't have any,
Yeah.
would get involved in this and stop letting them do these closed door meetings.
Yeah.
They are not correct, and it's really frustrating. But this, we think, it has more to do. It was for Chad, and we think this is more of Pryor's attempts to get the prosecutor. He's trying to get both Woods and Smith thrown off of the case. So we believe that's what more of this was about, but we don't know because our rights as the public are not being upheld at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, they really are not at all. It's very frustrating. They've just gone from a lot of stuff behind closed doors to everything is behind
Hmm.
closed doors.
Yeah,
And our community and the global community, all the people that care about this case, they have the right to know.
absolutely.
That is part of our legal system, is
Hmm.
that it's public.
Yeah,
So,
but for some
yeah.
reason, precious eyes, our sensitive little eyes, are being shielded from all of this. It's not right. It's not okay. But it's
No.
definitely what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all we have right now for
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 Daybell.
that.
Yeah.
But let's see, Kristi.
Mhm.
Let's. I'm muting so I can yell at dogs. Let's talk about the potential serial killer in Hawaii.
Yes. Okay. So we talked about him last week. This is Chito, Asuncion, potential serial killer in Hawaii. Really rare occurrence for Hawaii. He is charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder. As there are four victims, two were killed, two were injured, all in stabbings. And he was in court in just the last couple of days, yesterday actually, and he is being sent for a psychological evaluation, which clearly is something that he needs. What island? I believe it's the Big Island. The stabbings were in Hilo. Kaluakona is the island, and the stabbings were in Hilo. And so we're just going to keep an eye. He's going to start moving his way through the courts now because he's arrested and charged. Psychological evaluation will be interesting because there's just something very off about this kid. He's only 24. Just mm. And 10 years ago, 10 years prior to all this happening, he himself went missing for a little while. And I've been able to find only a very small amount of information. He went missing and then he was found. I do not know what happened, if he was just a runaway at that time or if something else happened to him. There's not a lot of background on him yet,
Yeah.
but we're going to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
It's pretty shocking for Hawaii.
Oh
Hawaii,
yeah.
these kinds of things generally don't happen in Hawaii. They
Yeah.
they rarely have a first degree murder case.
Hmm.
They're probably feeling a little like we are here in little old Idaho right now, dealing with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And serial killers, that's just not a thing that's happened in Hawaii. So
No.
keep an eye on that.
No. For sure. It was Bruno and Luca they they lay in their bed and bark at each other over one toy. Rest assured, they have a lot more than one toy. In fact, my birthday's next week. My son called me and said, "Would it be really weird if I bought you a Bark Box subscription for your birthday?" Because I mean, I know it would be toys for the puppies and the other dogs, but I feel like it might help you because they're keeping you so busy. I said, "Yeah, I think that would be a great birthday present. Bring it on."
That's a
Because
great idea. How fun.
the toy wars around here are never ending.
That's
Because whatever
awesome.
toy one guy has, well, that's it. Everyone wants it, including my
Mhm.
other 2 dogs. Everyone has to have it. Yeah. Yep. So, there you go. Alrighty. What island? Oh,
It was Kalibakona.
okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, Cody Bigsby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember the Cody Bigsby case. We covered it. This was yet another missing child. Uh, Cody's 4 years old. He has been missing. He was reported missing by his father on January 1st, 2022. And his dad, Corey Bigsby, was arrested for multiple child neglect charges, not related to Cody's disappearance, but related to the fact that he wasn't taking care of his kids.
Right.
And so it certainly could be related to the disappearance of Cody. Cody's still not been found. There's not much happening on that except for that Corey is still moving through the courts on this case. So they called 4 witnesses this week in the preliminary hearing. They
Mhm.
were the lead detective, a loss prevention manager at Walmart, and 2 managers at a car dealership where he bought a new car. And the reason why is they're proving that he left his 2-year-old and 4-year-old children home alone to watch themselves while he went shopping at Walmart and while he bought a new car.
Yeah.
And those are just 2 instances of you know, of the neglect, but basically they're showing that he wasn't taking care of his kids and they still don't know where Cody is. But anyway, he was gone. The car dealership, the manager there testified that he was at their dealership from start to finish for 6 hours. 6 hours that his 2-year-old and 4-year-old were home alone.
Mm.
And his attorney said, "There's no clear rule on when children can be left home alone, and obviously he thought it was lawful."
A 2-year-old and a 4-year-old? No, he
Yeah.
didn't. Give
Are
me a
you
break.
mother effing kidding me, man? Yep. When they asked why he didn't get a sitter, he said that they're too much of a handful for a sitter and it just would be too much of a hassle.
So leaving them alone was better because they're too much of a handful
Hmm.
for a sitter? But this is all bullshit, man.
Yep.
All
Um, yeah. His attorney, who I just don't know, there's things I could say. She said, "My belief is that the reason he's still in custody is that the Hampton Police Department and the Commonwealth Attorney perpetuated this narrative so that he's a person of interest, and there have been no charges. So it's unfortunate that they used the emotion of not only the community but the judge to ensure he remained in custody."
Oh, for God's sake. He left his children alone, and now his 4-year-old is missing,
Mhm. Yeah.
and somehow he doesn't have any responsibility here? Give me a break.
Mhm.
That's ridiculous.
He's got a bunch of family in court supporting him. His cousin said, "Just to see him looking rough like that. He's lost a lot of weight. It broke me down. It broke me down." What has it broke you down that Cody Bigsby's been missing for a half a year now
Yeah.
and
Where's
literally
Cody,
no one
you
is talking?
jackasses?
Yeah.
Oh my God. This one just,
Yeah.
that there's any defense at all for this father is just, no,
No,
there's no
why isn't
defense.
this family asking, "Where is Cody?
Yeah.
Where's Cody?" Disgusting
Yeah, it
and
is.
ridiculous. Yeah. Without a doubt. Okay, let's see. Kristi, do you want to talk about the Coleman ordeal?
Yes. So we didn't actually covered this when it happened, but you may have seen it in the news, and I wanted to talk about it. This is Matthew Taylor Coleman. So, Matthew Taylor Coleman is in a federal prison in California. And that's because 10 months ago, he killed his two children with a spearfishing gun.
Yeah.
He was in Mexico when it happened,
Mm-hmm.
and his kids were 2 and 10 months.
Yeah.
He got all wrapped up in a lot of QAnon style conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
And he started believing that his children had reptile DNA
Mm-hmm.
from their mother. And he decided that this was on August 7th of 2021 is when this all kind of started.
Yeah.
Matthew and his wife, they were packing for a family trip, but he had started believing that Abby was a reptilian. You guys have heard this term, I'm sure, and that meant that his children were half reptilian. So while they were packing, Matthew put the two children in his van and he just drove away. This was in Santa Barbara, California. And, the mom, of course, kind of freaked out, like, what's happened? And called the police because she didn't know what was up. She didn't think that the kids were in danger from their dad, but like they just disappeared. Well,
Yeah.
he drove into Mexico with his kids. He took the kids to a ranch of some sort and then killed them and went back to his hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And he was arrested when he tried to come back across the border because, of course, the police were looking for him and his
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
So he says that he had visions and signs that revealed to him that his wife Abby was possessed by serpent DNA
Mm-hmm.
and that she was potentially a shapeshifter and
Mm-hmm.
had passed this on to their children, and that their children had corrupted DNA and that would spread if he didn't do something about it. Now, this is a QAnon conspiracy theory. It has been, I've seen it from other people.
Oh yeah, heard it from lots of people. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying.
Yep.
So he has written a letter in which he says that he was deceived. He says, I'm sorting through it all now. There's a lot to unpack, but I have to figure out what I really believe. I don't have access to information anymore, as in those crazy QAnon message boards. So I'm having to use my mind to figure things out.
Well, there's a start there, Matthew. Yeah.
There is. It's such a tragic, awful situation.
So terrible.
And, the combination of the conspiracy stuff, obviously combined with some mental illness, some delusional stuff, led to those children's deaths. And there are so many stories like this. It's just terrifying.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's terrifying to see how an anonymous person posting on the internet was able to gather the kind of following that they did and say this kind of insane shit and get people right on board with them to the degree that they left their families, they left their jobs, they committed crimes, they murdered their children.
Yeah.
For what?
Right. For what? Matthew Coleman has destroyed his life and his family.
Yeah.
And it's not like this is the only story like this. It's not.
No, it's
There
not.
are hundreds and thousands probably at this point,
Mm-hmm.
stories like this,
Mm-hmm.
where believing that stuff and getting sucked into this delusion has destroyed people's lives, destroyed entire families.
Yeah. Yeah. Without
It's
a doubt.
horrifying.
It is horrifying. Yep. Well, speaking of horrifying,
Mm.
new charges today came down for the Buffalo mass shooter.
Oh, yes.
This is the shooting that happened last month in Buffalo, New York, at a grocery store where this 18-year-old white supremacist idiot showed up and gunned down 10 black people. And now he has finally been charged with multiple hate crimes. We've been waiting on this. He's already been
Good.
charged in, all these murders, but finally the hate crimes have come, which they
Good.
should. Uh, Hate crimes resulting in death, hate crimes involving bodily injury and attempt to kill, use of a firearm to commit murder during and in relation to a crime of violence, and use and discharge of a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. So, I mean, not that this kid wasn't already looking at potentially a death sentence, but this takes him
But
a whole lot closer to that.
but the federal hate crimes are very important. It's very
Mhm.
important that they are charged because it is sending a
Mhm.
message in this country,
Yeah.
and it's got to get a whole lot better than it is now, but at least we're getting a few. Derek Chauvin was charged with a hate crime, and the other police involved with George Floyd's death.
Yeah.
This kid obviously needed to be charged with a hate crime. Like, I'm grateful that we're getting at least a little bit of movement there.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about Irene Gakwa.
Oh, yes.
So we talked about Irene. We ran her story on Monday.
Mhm.
She is a lovely woman from Kenya who has been missing for several months now from Gillette, Wyoming.
Mhm.
And her fiance is a person of interest. He's actually been arrested and charged with 5 felonies in relation to what he did after she disappeared, which was drain her bank accounts, run up a $3,000 charge on her credit card, delete her Gmail account, and change some of her passwords to her banking and credit card sites.
Yeah. That's
And
not sus at all, right?
no, no, but we had a few questions, and I was able to get with one of the ladies. There are some ladies in the community that are working really hard to not let anyone forget about Irene and
Yeah.
keep pushing towards answers of finding her. And I had the opportunity to speak with one of them, a lovely lady there who doesn't know Irene at all, but is a mom and is horrified by all of this and says if she had a missing child, she would really hope others would do this for her. I did
Right.
not ask for her permission to share her name, so I won't. But she did give me a little extra or additional information. She answered a couple of questions that we had when we opened this investigation for ourselves. One of the questions we had was, what about her cell phone? Surely there's a cell phone. Her
Right.
cell phone continued to ping until the first part of March. We're
Good.
not sure if that just means that's when it died. We think that's probably true.
Mhm.
That could also be just when he turned it off. We don't
Right.
know.
But at least that's been checked because there were a lot of questions about what has actually been checked and has not been checked in this case.
Mm.
Katie's muting to yell at her dogs again.
Yeah. I don't know why on Wednesday nights I always end up home alone. So I leave my office door open so that I can keep an eye on things. And then this happens.
Yeah.
This is happening because Rico had the nerve to walk in the room. So Bruno's
Oh, is that what
barking at
happened?
him. Yeah. Bruno,
Well, I don't
enough.
know what's wrong with my lighting or my camera, but I am bright red, and I have no idea why. So, if you see me fiddling around with my green screen and stuff, that's because I look weird, but I don't know why. So we're doing our best tonight. That's all.
Yes.
That's all I
So
can say.
we're in straight up chaos. Okay,
Yes.
Rico's joining me, so they'll quit barking at him. All right, so back to Irene. There's a few things I wanted you guys to know. One of the things we didn't understand was the barrel, because the police have been asking everyone, if you have seen anyone with a 55-gallon drum
Right.
burying it in a rural area around here, we need to hear about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason why is because his neighbors saw him come home with a 55-gallon drum and burn something in it.
Oh God.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's why that's the deal with the barrel. And that's all we
Wow.
know about that. So a few other things
That's
she
very
said.
concerning.
they've been keeping a pretty close eye on him and trying to understand like what the hell, right? So we know that he's a big time gamer and that he works
Mm.
from home. She said she thinks that they're quite sure he actually works for AT&T and works
Oh,
from home.
okay.
And he door dashes food twice a day. He door
Wow.
dashes food and he door dashes groceries and doesn't really leave the house at all. Um,
That's
which
interesting.
clearly these guys are keeping a pretty close eye on him. Gillette's not a big place.
No, it
Uh,
isn't.
I mean, it's not a tiny place, but it's not a big place. They're keeping an eye. He also doesn't do face to face delivery. All of his delivery is contactless.
That's interesting. Like, it does make you wonder, like, is he afraid to leave that house? Is there something in that
Right?
house
Why
that he
isn't he
doesn't
leaving the
want
house?
people to find? Why is he not leaving the house?
He has someone coming in that mows his lawn, like a lawn service or a neighborhood kid or someone mowing the
Mhm.
lawn. He doesn't even go outside to mow the lawn, which is pretty weird. If he leaves the house, it's in the middle of the night.
Yeah, there's something in that house he doesn't want anybody to see.
Hmm. Yep. He drives a Subaru Crosstrek, a gray or silver Subaru Crosstrek, and she said that it still has Idaho plates on it. And that's pretty much what they know at this point, but they are keeping an eye on him and, just continuing to keep awareness going and keep the madness, high, to keep the anger high, the frustration, the pressure high
Yeah,
to help out. I mean, consider living in a different country and having one of your children go missing.
I
I mean, her
cannot
parents are
imagine.
in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her brothers are in the Boise area, though, right?
Yeah. Now, we did have one sympathizer that commented on our original story
We did.
who claimed that Irene was the the violent one and that Irene made his life a living hell and this has been nothing but heartache for him and that he's done absolutely nothing wrong. I did follow up with them and ask them if, okay, thanks for your perspective. How do you answer to, or what do you think about the 5 felony charges for all of the financial crimes against Irene?
Mhm.
Crickets there. I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to ask, is that you?
Yeah. What
Is
about
this
the barrel? What was burned in the barrel? What did you burn in the
right?
barrel? Oh,
Right? I know. I really wanted to be like, huh, Nathan, that you? That you? So
yeah.
hey, bye, Cindy. Good to see you. Anyway, so that's what we know. That's just a few follow-ups on Irene Gakwa, but we'll keep watching that one and
Mhm.
glad to have a good contact there because hopefully she'll keep me abreast if anything goes on that we would want to know about or any
Definitely.
sometimes it's a matter of just helping like sign some petitions, do things that help keep pressure on, stuff like that. However, it seems like law enforcement they are taking it seriously. This does not seem like a case where they're having to publicly shame and fight law enforcement to get them to do their jobs. That doesn't seem to be the case at all.
Right. No, it doesn't.
So good on Gillette. And I hope I'm right about that. That's what I have gotten from who I've spoken to. But
Mhm.
anyway, I hope that that remains the case, into solving this case and finding Irene. Yeah. So I think, oh, the Wests.
Oh, yes. Oh, geez. The Wests.
So you guys remember Oren and Orson West, who were two little boys that went missing from California. And finally, eventually, their adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Trezell West, were arrested. Uh, they still haven't found these kids, but they
No.
are charged with second-degree murder in the boys' deaths. And they have additional charges. So they now also, besides the second-degree murder charges, they also face one count of involuntary manslaughter and a conspiracy charge in the
Yeah.
deaths of both of the boys. And of course, they have pled not guilty to it all. Hey,
Yeah.
Candy. And yeah, so that's what's up on that. Good. Keep slapping it on there.
Yep.
But boy, I wish they could
Keep the
find those
pressure
little
on.
boys. Yep. And
Yeah.
give their bio mama some peace here and
Yeah.
the families and the public. I mean, people have just fallen in love with these little boys and want to know.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And yes, Mrs. Brophy.
Oh
This case
boy.
It always makes me laugh. This is Nancy Brophy, who was charged with murdering her husband, Dan Brophy, in Portland. He worked at a culinary school, and she was an insurance agent as well as a novelist. And mostly wrote like romance and romance slash crime stuff.
Hmm.
And back in 2011, Nancy Brophy wrote an essay about how to kill your husband. And then
Not a
in
genius move, as it turns out.
in 2017, she killed her husband. At the time, they were in financial straits. They were losing their house, and Nancy was shelling out $1,000 a month in pensions and life insurance payments on Dan.
Yep.
She stood to gain quite a lot. She also had ordered a ghost gun off the internet and a different barrel that she had changed the ghost gun's barrel out for. She'd done some kind of shifty stuff.
Very sketchy.
And, thanks to CCTV, they were able to put her van right in the area at the time of death. And she did a few kind of interesting, made a few interesting mistakes. Gosh, Nancy, you're going to have some time in prison because she was convicted, but I'll get there. But anyway, while she was in jail, she was discussing Dan's murder with inmate and showed her with her hands how far away the person was who shot Dan in the back. Like he was
Hmm.
this far away. Well, that's because that was you, Nancy, and you were there. Uh,
Yeah.
the sentencing was so sad. I watched the sentencing. It was awful. His parents, his mama spoke, or his family spoke. Uh, some of the students, his culinary students, spoke. The kid who found him and actually like closed off the crime scene and wouldn't let any of the other students in because they didn't want them to see the horror of this. It's so awful. Yeah.
Yeah. It surely
But
is.
anyway, so long story short, she was convicted of second degree murder a few weeks ago. So she was sentenced a couple of days ago. So she is sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years. Well, Nancy's not going to live 25 years, you know.
No, she's but
So she
72.
she's in prison forever.
Yeah.
So, yep. But basically that's the takeaway really is that yet again seems like this is why women kill more often than not for the money.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, Candy said they do say money is the root of all evil, right? Why do people have to be like this?
I don't know.
No, Janet, I'm not familiar, but now I want to look into it.
I just did a search. I do remember a little bit about this. We'll look into it a little more. It's the Dusty McKisson situation where he thinks that that he's found evidence that his dad was a murderer.
Of the Caddy Cabin murders,
The
of all
Kitty Cabin
things.
murders, yeah, which we hadn't talked
Yeah.
about here before.
Mhm.
So we'll take a look at that.
Mhm. Wow, that is wild. Huh. Well, there you go. I think we covered everything. Let me double check my list really fast. I hate it when I promise we were going to cover something and then we forgot. But we have a big list. So Daybell, Vallow, check. Cody Bigsby, Orrin and Orson, Harmony. Oh, Caitlin Armstrong. We did miss
Oh
something.
yes.
Yep. Caitlin Armstrong. Caitlin F. Armstrong. Do you guys
Hmm.
remember? This wasn't that long ago that we covered this. Caitlin Armstrong is being sought because she's being charged with murder in the case of, uh, oh gosh, Mo Wilson
Yes.
or Mariah Wilson or Mo Wilson. Uh, this was kind of a love triangle gone wrong. And
Right.
it's really shaken the cycling world, because
Hmm.
Mo Wilson was a well known cyclist. And so is Colin, the boyfriend of, or fiance or husband, I can't remember. The man in the
Boyfriend.
center of the triangle.
Right.
And apparently, Caitlin had dabbled a little bit in cycling too. So, at any rate, Caitlin is on the lam and has been pretty much the whole time. Well, there is a little bit more information coming out. There's been another sighting of Caitlin. And this is so interesting because I saw it in the cycling magazine. This is
Oh
published.
really?
They're keeping a close eye on this shit. Yes.
Hmm.
They have discovered that they believe that she was seen in a remote campground in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
They also believe that she may be using her sister's name.
Uh,
Yeah. So they're really watching for her. The sister's name is Christine Armstrong, and they are now wondering if she has made it into Canada.
oof.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, our Canadian friends, be aware there is
Mm-hmm.
a potential murderer on the loose, or upstate New Yorkers that
Mm-hmm.
may have seen her. It sounds like a pretty credible source of a sighting of her being up in there, but it was very close to the Canadian border where she was seen, and also potentially using the name Christine Armstrong. So, how about that? Commit a murder, flee with nothing but a backpack and your yoga mat, because she was a yoga instructor.
Right.
That's not a whole lot of namaste there, Kaitlin.
No, it
Uh,
isn't.
uh,
Also, don't you dare commit a murder and then use my name. I'm just making that statement right now.
right? Yeah,
That's
yeah. Okay, I won't do it.
shitty
I
to
will
do to
not
your
do it.
sister.
Right? What a thing to do to your sister. Well, also what a thing to do to Mo. I mean, for real.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But
it's all bad.
yeah, it's definitely all bad. So anyway, those are things that we know now. Her poor family,
Mhm.
Caitlin's family, is so horrified, and
Oh,
they're
I'm
still like,
sure
"We don't think she actually did it. She couldn't have done something like this. Caitlin, just come home. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out together."
that
Why'd
they've
you
got to be
run?
going. But why is she running like
Why is
this?
she running? Why is she using her sister's name? Like, what the hell is she doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, pretty wild. So, anyway, that's it. That is the whole list. That is, I knew we forgot something, and now I know what we forgot.
Right.
We're going to be back tomorrow night for the Sidekick Hour. So,
Hmm.
7 p.m. Mountain Time, right here. Do you know what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about resilience
I like
and
it.
about how to use energy skills and spirituality to be more resilient, to
Hmm.
bounce back quicker from challenges and traumas, and just ways to learn to understand yourself a little better
Hmm.
and learn some skills that help you to not get stuck in something. So
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about.
awesome. I love it. I'm here for it. All righty. Well, guys, you know it. This is, this has been, what's been?
Something's been, I don't know.
Something's been. Thanks for being here. Like,
Hmm.
follow, share, keep an eye on Patreon. We've got some barn burners coming out in there.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. So, this has been yet another production of True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.
Bye, everybody.